Guys, welcome back to Homeschooling in New York. Now what I'm going to be talking about is not strictly for New York, but it is highly suggested. Okay, so if you're new here just looking for homeschooling advice, I am here. All paperwork will be deemed for New York specifically. Alright, that being said, we are going to be talking about deschooling and what it is. Deschooling is a term you may often hear. It is very often confused with the term unschooling. While it is similar in some aspects, it is not nearly the same. Deschooling is that time period between you are transitioning from a brick and mortar school typically to the homeschooling life. Alright, so when I say brick and mortar, I am talking about charter schools, private schools, or public schools. And every year that your child has spent in a brick and mortar school should be approximately a week or two to deschool. Now, deschooling is that time where you don't focus so much on work and curriculums and things like that. You're working on transitioning, you make memories. It's both for you and your child to get out of the mindset that schooling has to look exactly like brick and mortar. Because trust me, with homeschooling, it does not. In in brick and mortar schools, there is usually a set schedule. Um, that that schedule helps with those transitions throughout the day with the subjects. There's a lot of kids around. You're in school for 7 8 hours a day. I mean, there is a lot going on in school environment. Whereas with homeschooling, we don't need nearly as much with work. Also, with homeschooling, you get to determine what your child is learning, how they're learning, and when. So you don't have to keep to the same schedule. If you work days and your child works best at night, trust me, been there, then you work at night, and that's perfectly okay. If you work nights and your child works better during the day, for a few hours, that's great. If you want to unschool, which I will cover next, you don't use a curriculum. If you want to use a set schedule, that's wonderful. If you want to work outside the home or bring your child outside the home to do activities, you can absolutely do that. Nobody's telling you not to. So you see, it's very flexible. Now, with deschooling, we think of it more as like that summer vacation. You're still learning, but you're not so focused on that learning aspect. Cooking, cleaning, watching movies, reading, taking field trips, all of that still counts towards learning. It's just thinking about how it will apply. So I always suggest about a month or two to deschool. Again, that doesn't mean even if you're coming in mid-year that you shouldn't deschool. Highly suggest you do. But just remember that when you're doing your paperwork, you will reflect all those learning things, like maybe you went on vacation, or maybe you're reading books or watching movies. All that will be reflected on that paperwork, especially those quarterly reports. Okay, so just making sure that's aware. My next video will be on the unschooling teaching method, and then after that will be elective.